What's going on, everybody? My name is Andy, and I would like to welcome you to my new content channel called Functional Fitness Podcasts. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, geez, not another podcast that's directed towards fitness and another guy to tell me what to do, either based off of the studies or because he has 1,000 hours of experience. And I get it. I've been there. I have been the personal trainer. I have been the scientist. So what I hope to do with this podcast is be able to discuss these topics with not necessarily your run-of-the-mill lab techs or scientists. I'm currently working on my PhD, but that doesn't mean that my guests and experts will have that same level of education, but I hope that we are able to bridge the two together and be able to give you a clearer understanding of what general fitness should mostly be. The people I will be bringing onto my channel are experts that you see every day and probably don't even realize or recognize everything that they go through to help you feel like you can develop better performance even though you're not an athlete. The goal of these podcasts are for you, the listener, to receive the theory, to receive the practice knowledge, and to receive all the information you need to know to make a well-informed decision whether to carry on your own personal fitness without the need of an expert such as the people I bring to this channel, but also to give you enough information to know when you can't do it alone. I can already hear yourselves objection. Realistically, it's exercise. How hard can it truly be? Today, social media has it saturated everywhere. From Facebook, Twitter, YouTubers create their own channels to help you understand exercise, to teach you exercise, and to help you try to live those better lifestyles. Occasionally, you just don't click with the information, or it's just so abruptly inaccurate that it doesn't make sense. Sadly, once you get to my level, a lot of those common sense concepts, i.e. calories in makes you gain weight or build muscle, calories out makes you burn muscle, burn fat. There's some truth to it, but there's also some shades of gray that we have to really break down and to get it into such a level to where it's easy enough for a 10th grader to understand. So I hope this channel helps you create those understanding moments, generate those ahas and like, oh man, that's something I haven't really thought about, but it's affecting me personally, and to keep you listening to us for a really long time. I have some really great experts that I look forward to bringing onto this channel to help improve your understanding in both the scholastic world, which is where I'm really great at, and to those that are practicing on a day-to-day basis. Finally, just to give you a little bit more background on who I am. Again, my name is Andy. I am 37, turned 38 this year, father of 2 kids, married. Currently working on my PhD with Concordia University in health and human performance. That's with a cognate towards strength and conditioning. My master's degree is from Liberty University. It's a master's in clinical exercise sciences, and I doubled down with obtaining a master's in human performance nutrition. My bachelor's degree is from Charleston Southern University. I'm a South Carolinian through and through. Before that, I opened a supplement nutritional store also in Charleston. It was called Palmetto Nutrition. When we moved to North Carolina, that was basically when we closed down the brick and mortar and continued making online sales until it just got to the point where my wife's regular job and me contracting in and out of gyms just didn't really give us enough time to be able to keep that reality going. So we still keep some relationships with those people and with our former customers and friends. Technically, we still make the connection to get them the products they like and products that seem benefits with. So I was in the military. I was an Army Grunt paratrooper. Joined in 2003, where I went to Fort Benning for boot and AIT. That's when I got my first set of orders to go to Germany. I was in Germany for several years, did a lot of training exercises, seen a tank run over a car. Their streets are really small. Deployed to Iraq with the unit and ended up PCSing. It's the acronym for moving to Fort Benning, where I met my current wife and took over an instructor's job there, where I was running short on time. My wife came to me one day, said she was pregnant with our first kid, so I ended up enlisting like a genius and continued on to basically 10 years. I did have a change of jobs, change of MOS. I went from 11 Charlie to 31 Delta, which is the CID, what stands for Criminal Investigations Division. Did that for about 2.5 years. Didn't really, I excelled at some points, but there were other areas that I didn't. So ultimately, it became the best choice for me to return to the infantry, and that's where I put in my Ranger packet. I originally had orders to go to El Paso, but due to my Ranger application getting approved, and within a week's time, I got new orders to go back to Fort Benning for training and basically to finish up my career, because I had a accident where I was no longer a deployable asset. So they gave me the opportunity to either change my MOS again or just get out, and I opted for the med board. So I took the med board, I got out, worked for Total Nutrition for several months, kind of got the basics in sales, and never really did good in sales, to be honest with you. That was never my expertise. I was always a practitioner. I was always somebody that was taking what was given to me and making it work. That's just the fundamental grunt mentality, MacGyvering things. So I took that experience, moved to Charleston, opened up my own business because I thought it was going to be easy. After several months, I realized that I had to pay quarterly taxes, although I couldn't figure that part out until it was too late. I started going back to school using my GI Bill. That's when I started Charleston Southern as a kinesiology major, but also under a marketing minor, so I can learn these things that I didn't really, find as common sense. Long story short, got to a point where we thought we did enough work, we made enough revenue, and ultimately we just moved away to be closer to family. So we shut the brick and mortar down and kept the online service going for a while. But, as already stated, it just got to be too much, and we had to let one thing go. That just happened to be the business. I hope you gain a lot of information out of this series, and if you have any feedback, I'll always welcome feedback. Doesn't matter if it's creative criticism, or if you flat out think it's garbage, that's okay too. You're open to those opinions, and I will read those, especially if you have some good points to follow up with. Another thing is, I am a grunt at heart. I will probably refer to me being a grunt a lot. I have a tendency to do that. It is a very proud time of my life, and although I've suffered a lot through it, it's a very accomplished phase of my life, era of my life. So a lot of my examples do relate back to that, which means I speak grunt with cuss words. So if you ever hear me censoring something, it's because I've dropped an F-bomb and I probably shouldn't have. Just going to be real with you there. But otherwise, there will be plenty of means for you to contact me or to give me ideas, or to cross talk. I am on ResearchGate. I am on LinkedIn. Please don't look at my Facebook. Again, I am a grunt, so I do have I call it a weakness maybe, but you'll see my colorful side there too. So let's try to keep it academic and professional as possible. So that would be great. Again, my name is Andy, and I hope you enjoy these podcasts. One final thing, I do have to give you my disclaimer. I am an exercise physiologist. That's what my degree background is in. That's where all my practical experience has been. I have worked in both the commercial and the clinical side, so I do have experience talking and helping patients understand what they're going through, along with being able to add exercise into their daily lifestyles, even though it may seem or feel like it's more than they can handle. Moreover, that means I work as a member of a multiple disciplinary team. So the things that you learn in these podcasts, or the topics that me and my experts may relate towards, is not for you to create your own diagnosis off of. I'm not telling you to go do X, Y, and Z, or if it's something that I do prescribe, it'll be something that's related to the ACSM or NSCA fundamentals, where it relates to more evidence-based results. But by saying that, I am not a physician, I am not a medical doctor. Those are the topics that you need to discuss with your caregiver and be able to hold those discussions to see if it's best for you. Sometimes even exercise may contraindicate towards a medication or recovery that a physician knows that I don't. So keep that in mind.